2023, I took exactly 16 trades. I had a bunch of good trades and I had a bunch of bad trades. And in this video, I want to share with you the top 3 trades I took and the worst 3 trades I took during 2023. The best trade of 2023 and also one of the most obvious trades has been on the NASDAQ. Now, what was the setup? Let's zoom out. Let's look at the higher time frames. You can see that from a monthly perspective, we had this beautiful bullish trend line. During 2022, we had a retracement back to this trend line. Then we had some bullish rejection right here. And you can see January 2023, a first rejection. And then I entered a position roughly there because on the smaller time frames, we had the proper confirmation. And you can see the rest was history. During 2023, we had an insane pump. I exited roughly right here at the previous high for a profit of 380%. I had a product with a 10 or 11x leverage. Very juicy trade. And of course, all the trades which I'm about to share with you, I shared them all live inside the Elite program. Another very good trade of 2023 has been on AMDN. This was also so obvious. I mean, even a blind man can take this trade. We had this beautiful bullish trend line. We had a first rejection, a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth rejection. And this was exactly where I entered a trading setup or where I entered a trading position. Because we had a juicy setup, I could properly manage my risk. I entered roughly here, and then you can see 3 months we had an insane rally of 22%, and on this setup I made plus 240%. I traded this one with options. This was pretty simple. I simply bought options with the strike price at my entry level, and then I exited after we saw this beautiful pump, plus 240%, of course, shared live. And the third trade which I want to share with you was on UNH. Also right here, this was pretty simple. From a monthly perspective, we formed this support level roughly at $460. We had a bunch of rejections away towards the upside in the past. And those support levels, they just offer very good risk to reward ratios because you can simply have your stop below the support level. And since it's a monthly level, it's a quite high chance that we will actually see another rejection towards the upside. This was exactly what happened. I entered roughly there and then I exited after we saw this quite nice rally towards the upside. Right now, you can still be in the position, but I exited 100% of my position for a profit of roughly 160%. Also right here, I played it with options. I simply bought call options with the strike price at the current market price. And then after we saw this rally, I exited for plus 160%. But of course, trading is not always profits. You also have losses. And the 3 worst trades, starting with the worst, I lost 80% on my options on RO. It's actually a Swiss stock called Roche. And you can see my analysis on the monthly time frame was pretty simple. We had this structure level right here. I drew it. I think I even drew it like this because we had a bunch of previous resistance in the past. Then we had this break followed by a retest, continuation higher, and then it was once again turned support. I entered a position after we saw some rejection right here, but I didn't take profits. My criteria for my take profit was not met, so I also didn't exit this position. And then you can see it initially went into profit and then it went against me and I closed roughly minus 7%. Just as soon as RO broke below this previous low, I closed my position and on my options, I lost 80%. That's just part of trading. As long as you're overall making money, you will always have those bad trades. Another trade, which was really not that good, and I was trying to catch a falling knife, was on Pfizer. Reason I entered a setup, pretty simple. We had this previous structure zone where you can see we had resistance, resistance, resistance. It was then turned support, and on the smaller time frames, we even saw the proper rejection, which I was waiting for. I shared this one inside of the Elite program. I simply entered a buy position after we saw the rejection right here, and you can see I literally bought the top of this wick. From here, we had another melt of minus 40% towards the downside. But again, that's just part of trading. It's all about probabilities, and sometimes you will be the last person who buys up there, and then the market just melts against you. I closed this position for a loss of roughly minus 75%, just as soon as Pfizer broke below this previous low. I knew most likely this will not play out. You can see ever since a correction of another minus 40%. Right now we are once again retesting support, but I'm not in a position. Full disclosure, if I enter a position, I will share it inside the elite program. And the third worst trade of 2023, I also always like to share those, was on NESN, another Swiss stock. So those stocks actually cost me quite some money during 2023. Of course, it was still overall a profitable year, but you always have losing trades, and 2 of those trades were Swiss stocks. What I was looking at on NESN was this structure zone. We had resistance, 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 support, 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 and then you can see from a monthly perspective, we formed another support level roughly there, but I just drew this zone here and thought, okay, we are having some chopping around back and forth at this level. I want to take a long. It was kind of the same setup as on UNH. We had a retracement back to the support. We had a bunch of rejection towards the upside. So I entered a position as soon as we once again came back to the zone and showed some rejection. I lost 55% on my options. We had a melt towards the downside, and I closed, again, this was roughly a 10x leverage. I closed exactly right here after NESN broke this previous wick towards the downside, because then I knew we are back to a bearish market. We will most likely see more continuation towards the downside, and it kind of looks like Pfizer here. We are retesting those previous lows. I'm not in a position, but as soon as I enter a position, I will share it inside the elite program. Maybe we will see a rejection towards the upside on the smaller time frames. I'm not ready for a long position yet. If you want to follow along, as I mentioned, with all the trades I share on a weekly basis inside the elite program, go to basictrading.net. It's the first link in the description. If you want something free, you can also sign up for the free trading newsletter right here. I wish you a very successful 2024. Time to make money outside of trading and reinvest that money back into your trading account. This is how you build real long-term wealth. Keep your long-term vision. Cheers.